Hey y'all, this week I decided to do another fuse bead melt test, but instead of doing Art Cal or Hama or one of those brands that are more known, I wanted to do something a little bit different. So I picked up this kit at my local Dollar Tree, and I was thinking of trying to do a series maybe on other dollar store or unknown brands that I find in different shops and stuff like that. So I picked up this kit that I've seen a few times at the Dollar Tree, and I thought I would just test it out just to see how it works on its own, and maybe even test it with Perler beads just to see how they work together. So first, just as far as what comes in this kit, you get a circle pegboard, beads, and a tweezer, and a piece of ironing paper. I was surprised that it came with the tweezer set. I don't use tweezers when I work with mini beads. I know a lot of people do though, and they tend to use tweezers for the midi beads, the regular size beads. So maybe these could be useful even if you don't pick up these necessarily for the beads. If you don't like how they melt, you could maybe just get this for the accessory. I don't know how much those go on their own. I might add a little note in if that would be not such a great idea, if it's not really a price or money saver at all. So maybe it could be worth it just for the tweezers and the circle pattern pegboard. I'll test some regular midi beads that I have with me right now, and in a minute, just to see how these look, or how they fit on this kit, to see if they work with that board. And we'll open this up in a sec. And these have some pretty nice colors just looking at them. I'm sure they would be comparable to the Perler colors. I shouldn't have poured them out like that, but I don't have a bin here with me. So I'm just going to do a simple little pattern just to test how these iron, just to get an idea of how they are on their own. And I'm actually going to put these away, just get everything a little bit organized. Okay, so just taking a look at these, they look to be about the same size as regular midi bead Perlers. These black ones here are Perler beads, not these dollar store brands. So just looking at them side by side, they look almost the same. I want to say they're a bit bigger, the Dollar Tree ones, so they might not necessarily melt well together. I don't know how they would end up melting. We can test that after we test how they melt on their own. But actually holding them next to each other, I would say they're about the same size. So I'm not going to be using these tweezers for this project just because I don't usually work with tweezers, so I think it'll go a bit faster if I just use my hands. But I do know that some people use this tweezer method where they put two beads on the tweezers to hold their beads and then place them sort of like that to make things go faster. I'm not doing it right because I don't do this usually, but they seem to fit pretty nicely on the tweezers, and when I tried it earlier, they placed pretty easily. If you're used to that, you could probably use this set of tweezers. It seems like the beads fit pretty nicely, and the Perler beads seem to fit about right too. So again, if you wanted to just pick this up at the dollar store just because you have a Dollar Tree near you and you needed a pair of tweezers, you might be able to just grab this just for the tweezers if you wanted to try that out. So I'm going to just do a quick pattern now, something simple, just to test how these melt, and then we'll see how they iron. Okay, so there it is. Just a really simple, small, circular little pattern there. I didn't want to do anything too complicated or take too long on anything. Again, just because I just want to see how this melts. We're going to go ahead and just use the paper that they gave us because I don't want to test another paper. Maybe, I'm sure this is just regular old ironing parchment paper. But, you know, just in case, we're just going to go ahead and use this. Plus, I already have it here, so. And actually, so things don't turn out any differently than most of my projects do, I'm going to go ahead and tape this, and then we'll iron it. Okay, so this won't be too hard to tape. It's just one piece. Now, I usually don't work with these regular size beads. Again, I usually work with minis, but they should melt about the same. Okay, there we go. And again, if, like I said in my other melt test video, if you're not sure why I poke holes in tape, I can do a video on the taping method. A lot of people use that for their fuse beads. And now we're gonna iron it. Okay, here we go. I'm not sure if I'm gonna attempt a flat melt on this. I'm not sure how confident I am in flat melting regular sized beads. So these seem to be melting really fast. Just that center one there, that blue. This paper feels thin, almost gummy. I don't know if it's just me or I'm just not feeling super confident about these beads. I don't really expect them to be terrible. I know there are some Creatology kits. I just got one from Michael's that was $1. So, but I haven't tested those beads yet either, so I don't know the quality of those beads. But I don't really necessarily expect these to be bad. I'm just not sure how they'll melt. Now this also really depends on how you iron your beads. Some people like a flat melt, some people just like to iron them just enough to fuse on one side and then flip them and do the other side too, just enough to fuse, and they don't flat melt at all. So that's really dependent on your ironing method. I like to flat melt my pieces, but then I work with mini beads almost exclusively, so, well, pretty much exclusively. I don't really have any midi beads in the Perler line or anything. I just picked up this kit just so I could test them. And most kits that I see for $1 or, you know, in other brands don't have mini beads. They usually just have regular size beads. Alright, I think I'm just gonna finish it off there. They're not fully melted from what I can see. I can't tell if that is color transfer or not. I don't think those marks were on my desk earlier. Alright, I'm just gonna go ahead and peel right now. Take a quick look. It looks pretty good actually. They have almost like a blended look to them. They melt differently. I'm not sure if, again, I don't usually work with the midi beads. Oh, there's definitely color transfer. Look at that. I've never seen that before with Perler beads, the mini ones, and I'm pretty sure it's not. That doesn't happen with the regular size either. So then that's definitely color transfer on the tape there. I'm going to do a quick pass with on the other side. Very hot. And again, you're getting some color transfer on the paper there. And on the tape. And there we go. So I'd say they melted okay. They're not like transparent or falling apart. I've seen some beads that have a really terrible melt and they're almost see-through after you melt them. And they seem to fall apart. I can't really explain what happens to them. It's just a very weird melt, but these don't have that problem. They do look a bit weird, like here, if you can see that. That might have just been a dent in my iron. If I ironed it a bit weird, but there's just weird markings there. Again, that could have been just an issue with my ironing. But there is almost sort of a bleed where they're fused together. And that could be these beads. I'm not sure. The melt is almost hexagonal. And again, I don't usually work with MIDI beads, so I don't know exactly how they melt. I do have some pieces here that were melted a while ago. These are regular Perler beads. And this is how those melt. So these have sort of a rounder melt, but again, these are single beads. They're not all next to one another like this. I don't know if I want to test these with the regular Perler beads right now, just because of the color transfer. But maybe we'll give it a try. I'm gonna go ahead and do a quick melt test with some regular sized Perler, just to see how they melt together. And we'll do that really fast just so it doesn't take too much time. So I'm setting up really quickly just for a quick test of the Perler alongside these dollar store beads. It did seem like this color here, this purplish pink color, magenta, I'm not sure what you would call that. It did seem like this color was the one that was causing the color transfer. I didn't really see it much with those other beads. So it could just be that particular color, but again, I don't think I've seen that before with any of the beads I've worked with. So I think they melted fine. They didn't really have any major problems, but again, if you can get a Perler kit or some other brand, or you know, it just depends on what you need it for. If you need it for projects, like big projects, I don't know if I would recommend it because you don't get a ton of beads in it. You don't get specific colors. But if it's like for a kid, or you just want to do something quick, or you need a few extra beads of a specific color, maybe you could pick it up. It's not, they don't melt terribly. The only thing is probably that color transfer. Okay, so the black beads are the Perler. The pinkish purple and yellow are the Dollar Tree brand. And they're not necessarily Dollar Tree brand. They don't have that store's branding on them, but I got them at the Dollar Tree. And this is from a Perler set. Okay, so we're just gonna iron that really quickly. I'd say they're melting about the same rate right now. And we're gonna go ahead and stop there. Get that color transfer again. And they melted together pretty nicely. They look about on the same level. They do have sort of, there is a bit of separation actually happening here. If you can see that. So taking a closer look, there is a bit of a problem with the color transfer here. The purple-ish color is blending into, it got onto the yellow. And it's probably on the black, but the black is darker, so you can't really see it. I didn't melt this side, so you can just see what the open melt looks like there. just with them next to one another. There is sort of an angle to them. Sorry, this is hot. There is a marked difference in how tall they are now, just after having been melted, sort of. That can happen sometimes, but if you see there is a definite kind of a separation here on each line. And maybe if you melted them longer, it would turn out differently if you just didn't open melt and didn't go for a flat melt. But with this color transfer here, and just judging by how that ended up, I don't know if you necessarily want to combine these with Perler in a project. Obviously, you know, this is just a set that you can get at the dollar store. You're not gonna like break the bank trying to pick this up. If you wanted, maybe if a kid, or if you just wanted to do a little small project just for fun, you know, it's not gonna hurt. But you know, you would want to be careful with this. Just, you know, you might make a huge mess if that color transfers all over the place. I'm just gonna see if this, okay, so it doesn't, if you just rub it on something, it's not going to transfer that color. But when you're ironing, you might want to cover your area with something. So really it's up to you at the end of the day. This is just a fun, this was mostly just for fun to see how these would melt on their own, how they would work with Perler, just because I see this set at the Dollar Tree all the time, and I just wonder how they melt, you know, and I'm sure other people that bead maybe just were wondering what it's like. Or if you don't even make projects like this often and you just wanted to pick it up and see, you know, if it would be any fun, I think if you pick this up just, you know, just because you wanted to make something, yeah, sure, go for it. And also, like, if you need, again, like I said, if you need a set of tweezers for your projects and, you know, you don't want to go to a craft store or order them online, you know, maybe just going and picking up the set at the Dollar Tree. Also, you get this in it, so like maybe if you don't have a circle pegboard yet, you could just grab one of these kits, get the pegboard. They also have other sets, so they have this star and the heart set. I'm not 100% sure what the pegboard looks like on these sets. I'm pretty sure the star is a star though, so I'm not sure how much it costs to get a set of pegboards. I feel like you would probably actually save money if you just got a Perler set of 3. I think they do sets with multiple pegboards, but again, if you just need one really quickly, or you just need a set of tweezers, maybe it wouldn't hurt just to pick this up, you know. This was just, again, just a quick test just to see how these look together and how they melt, you know, overall, just to see. And I'm probably going to do more tests like this. I was going to do Creatology and probably another brand that I saw at Michael's, because some people were saying that they've been bringing in a lot of the Michael's brand beads and they weren't sure how they melted. So I'm probably going to do other bead tests coming up, and if you're interested in a specific brand, let me know. If I can get a hold of it, I'll test it out too. And yep, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you have any questions about how these melted, if you wanted me to test some of the other colors. I think I got all the colors in the kit melted. And again, there was that color transfer problem. So if you have any questions about these, how they melted, what I think of them, let me know in the comments below. If you have questions about another brand that you want me to test out, just let me know. If you want me to do a video on the tape method, I can do that too. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and leave a thumbs up if this video was helpful at all, or if you just liked watching it. And yeah, thanks for watching. See you later. Bye.